Hey guys, TheDrFrancis here. So basically this is a ranked game. I'm going to commentate it just for my analytical reasons, for fun, and if you're kind of having trouble, this is a bronze game. Long story short, don't turn this video off just yet. I'm qualifying for my silver. I was qualifying for gold a couple months ago actually, but what ended up happening was I stopped playing. I was like 2 games away from actually getting into gold, but I said stop playing for whatever reason. I came back a little while ago, looked at my rank. They bumped me all the way down to like bronze 2 or some shit like that. So after a game or two, I'm already back up to qualifying for my silver. This is the first game of that series. I decided I'm going to commentate and kind of look over all of the videos or all of the games that I played to kind of give myself an idea of where my weaknesses are, as well as just kind of for shits and giggles. It makes it a little bit more epic-ish for me. I'm turning it into something creative. That's basically what I'm doing, so it looks like I'm doing work. But I hope you guys enjoy. So we're going to start off. I'm playing Zyra. This is the first in the series of 5 or 3 out of 5 or whatnot. I'm going mid. We've got our Aatrox top. We got Campbell as my duo partner as Tarek going bot with our Draven. Draven turns out to be a little bit of a problem, but in the end, everything kind of comes together-ish. He's not as big a problem. He's still a huge douche, but. And then Jarvan is our jungle, and he's really on top of the gang. Top lane, as you guys will see, did a really good job. But I'm laning against Diana, really annoying, because she does have that range closer, and I am a squishy person. I'm starting off Dorn's ring pots, just kind of a standard little build. I like the extra AP. I've got like 50 AP starting off right now, as you can see, plus the pots for sustain, plus the extra little mana sustain from the Dorn's ring. So for those who haven't played Zyra before, I'm going to post her spells and abilities up here. Basically, the basic concept behind Zyra is she ends up placing her W, which are her seeds, on the ground. She can have 2 max stored up, and she can have 4 max on the field, and they do have a time duration. And what she does is when she casts her Q or E over it, it summons a plant. The plants do the same amount of damage. There's 2 different kinds. There's one from her Q and one from her E. Her Q are ranged plants. That's the only thing that makes them special. Her E is plants that are melee range, but they have a slow. Biggest problem I have with Zyra is the plants can be unreliable. And then her ulti, when it's cast and it hits one of the plants that are already up, it increases their attack speed, I believe, temporarily. Kind of gives them enrages the plants. But we were going for blue. Time to get into the game more so. You guys, I'll try and explain Zyra a little bit more as we go on. But we were going to go for blue. Jarvan said, fuck that, let's go for red. Let's go for their red, because they do have a Fiddlesticks jungle, so he's going to go for blue, most likely. So we're like, okay, we'll go do it. So we sit here, we take red for him, and then I'm like, you know what, I'll go mid, but then I realized bot's already a little overextended. So I'm like, well, we can try something. I honestly don't think we're going to get anyone, but maybe we can burn a couple of their spells. Campbell Tarek flashes in, gets a stun. I miss a root on the Vayne because she flashed, but I did get the Sonnet. But we did just burn 2 flashes. Unfortunately, Campbell burned his flash, but 2 for 1 is definitely better. So I fly mid lane. I end up missing out on last hits here, but for 2 flashes, I don't know if in the end if it's worth it or not. Just normal laning. Okay, so here, Jarvan catches Fiddlesticks in our jungle trying to steal our red, I believe. One thing I want to point out here real quick is one thing a lot of players that I've noticed don't do. There's a lot of really good players who do it. They don't follow up. Even in, ranked game or whatnot, or duo queue, when you're not in chat, pings are your friend. Jarvan pings him as soon as he sees him, like literally as soon as he jumps on him, like even before that. I, in response, rush my ass up there as soon as I can. Unfortunately, I do overextend myself to Diana a little bit, so, that's one thing, is Diana decided to follow up as well, so that's another thing, is following up on the defense. So I'm extended. I don't have anything to really stop her for the most part except for my root. What ends up happening here, though, is Fiddlesticks is trying to do that. He's obviously losing that fight because Jarvan's one up on him, and it's Fiddlesticks isn't exactly the greatest, auto attacker in the game. So let's go ahead and continue. I flash to get out of Diana and to place the seed, throw my root. I miss the root, but I get the slow plant up. That's what the slow plant looks like, and we get him. And Diana now is the one who's overextended, and I got a Jarvan. So Jarvan knocks her up. I'm going to go over here. I only have 2 spells. I only have my seed and my root. So I'm auto-attacking her as best I can and trying to keep up. Aatrox is already killed Trinta. He's followed up. He was going to follow up with the Diana, or with the, not Diana, the Fiddlesticks, but now that he sees that Diana's overextended, we all jump on him. I get a root off. I end up getting the kill. I mean, God damn it. It probably could have gone a little bit better. Fuck you, man, or directed camera. Jarvan goes back to his jungle. Aatrox goes back to his top. Everyone's still healthy enough that we could chill in our lanes for a little while. Okay, one thing a lot of you are probably looking at. I only have 3 last hits. Okay, that is probably my biggest weakness and the biggest thing I need to work on is last hitting. Like any of the easy last hitters, Lee Sin, especially since I use a lot of AD runes, work out really well. But on characters that don't have the strong auto attacks, I'm not all that great. I really need to. This is something I've been working on. And this game thus far, I already got a kill and assist, so it's kind of been going back and forth. I've had other things keeping me preoccupied. We're already up 1.4k, so this is the one thing I love about Zyra is I'm zoning the crap out of her. Like, she's on her tower because I pushed her out because of my plants and my spells. That's one thing that I have been doing is because I've been summoning my plants and doing, all my spells, they end up pushing the lane out for me, which means she's on her tower. So I am overextended for ganks. Fiddle ganks I'm not too worried about because I think I could probably root him as soon as I saw him so I could avoid the fear. So I was a little, more friendly here. Zyra's got a lot of kite ability with her slow plants and her root, so that's something that I rely on a lot. So I throw a plant up, almost get her, she gets away. I'm lowish on mana, so I'm trying to, slow down a little bit. I almost get her, she flashes out. But as you see, like, I keep zoning her. Like, my creep score is really closing ahead of her pretty quick. And as I said before, too, Zyra can have 4 seeds up on the field. They do have a short lifespan. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this real quick. I got to back up because I was a little distracted. We'll go back to the whole plant thing here in a second. Alright, so, up here, let's take a look at what's going on. So, Fiddlesticks, they just dove and killed Trin. Jarvan had to run past. Fiddlesticks like, ooh, I have an opportunity. Jarvan gets him out of that. Aatrox follows up as well. That time, though, Diana disappears. She starts running this way. I ping saying, hey, she's missing with the missing signal. So she's going to go up there and try and kill them. I assume that's what she would do to help Fiddlesticks out. Well, now that I still don't see her, I'm kind of a little wary that she's going to gank me. So I throw all the stuff up, and I've got nothing to protect myself except for maybe if I get a good root off. Which, if I don't, then I'm kind of fucked. I hate the manual. They're directed camera. If anyone knows how to shut that off, let me know. So I throw a plant in there to check the bush. She's not anywhere to be found, so I'm like, okay, well, I'll go back. And she pops out mid. I honestly have no idea where she went. So I go back to lane, do my normal thing. Trying to last it. She jumps on me. Okay, so let's take a quick look at this. So this is what I was talking about when I mean if Diana jumps on me, I'm pretty much screwed. She gets 6 here, as you see. She literally just gets 6. I blew my stun and I'm low on mana, so she knows now is a good time to go. Or I blew my root. So she nails me with her moon blade or whatever. She jumps on me. The damage she's putting out on me is like really, as you can see, my health bar is just chunking down. And she's pulling me back into her. I get one of the plants off to do some damage to her, but I really can't really do a whole lot to her right now. So what ends up happening is I throw off an ignite, I try and cast another plant, I throw my ulti up, which keeps her there for a second. Note, she's ignited, my plant's still hitting her and it's enraged because of it has more attack speed now because of the ulti. She got knocked up, which is allowing the tower to get hit off on her. So as we go, this is where Zyra's passive is amazing. As you can see, I went into her passive. When she dies, she turns into this plant and she shoots a thorn that does true damage. So you always try, even if you know you're gonna die for sure, make sure you do as much damage to them as possible, because then this can happen. I've gotten double kills off that just when I've been ganked a couple times before. So it's something that you really need to kind of keep in your mind that, oh, my passive's I'm gonna do damage when I'm dead. Not like it's like Karthus's with the exception of I'm not really. Karthus can be really useful in that, but Zyra's true damage, so you can kind of calculate the damage a little bit more. And we decided to go for the first dragon. Dragon goes uncontested because they really don't have a whole lot. Aatrox has been roaming, so I'm not exactly sure why he's been doing that, but he's been doing good. He's been setting up kills. They've all been getting kills, so ends up working out. All right, so here stuff goes on here. I was gonna follow up, but I hesitate, which is kind of a bad on my part. I come down. I thought they had it, so I come down. They all have their ultis, so they're popping their ultis. And Jarvan gets caught. Targ's getting blown up, and Draven's kind of doing what he can, but he's kind of fucking up his auto attacks. Targ goes in to stop. They were focusing the Fiddlesticks when they probably should have been focusing the Vayne right off the bat, but I know Fiddlesticks was the one who they caught. So that's why he has the lowest health. And Tarek goes in, almost kills him, but he fears, and the Vayne turns around, and they end up killing him. So I barely get there. I get there too late. Diana's on the same, in the same kind of boat I am. I got there a little sooner, but she ends up basically just scaring us off. I get a couple plants off, and we do enough damage to take out the Vayne. So the Vayne died, so Draven's got a little bit of free farm for a little while. Diana realizes nothing's going on, so I come up. I want to try and slow her down a little bit, so I place a slow plant right here, but she ends up just following me straight through the thing instead of taking the slow plant route. So la-da-da, more last hitting like normal. I like Zyra as a mid because she does have so much zone ability. Alright, so Diana disappeared in this direction. I don't know if you guys saw that. I know it was a little fast. So I'm pinging like, hey, she's at their blue buff. Like, we can take it. You guys are right there. I didn't say all this, this is all in pings and in my head, because we weren't in Skype. So I'm like, okay, well, let's go take a look, and it looks like they just got it. I didn't know if they got it at this point. So I threw a plant over to kind of take a look. You can throw the seed, it gives you a little bit of vision, but I like to pop the plant just so I have, like a decent amount of it. And they're being careful, and they're trying to fly down there and take that tower now. But Diana is still missing, so I'm like really concerned. I'm like, okay, where the hell does she go? Does she have blue buff? In the end, I get a little free farm. Unfortunately, Fiddlesticks gets top and kills Aatrox, almost gets Jarvan. So I'm going pushing out, and look at who's got blue buff. I have no idea where she disappeared, but I'm pretty sure she got the blue buff just before I got there with Fiddlesticks. So now that she's on her tower, I'm trying to be careful. I don't have a whole lot to do, so I'm placing my wards because I don't want to be on the tower. And one thing to note as well, Zyra's plants, when you put them on the tower targets them first and one shots them. So they won't attack structures. So there's no real point to do that. You can put them on. I put them on towers sometimes, so they can take a hit to tank it for the minions. So we have more minions in the end. So I'm out of mana. Diana knows this. I'm scared as shit. I'm throwing out as many seeds as I can, trying to conserve my mana and get last hits. But in the end, Diana has that advantage over me. And here's where... Okay, Aatrox is coming bot, and I think this is where I fuck up. Let's see. Yeah, Aatrox wants to go in. Diana apparently has a ward in there, so she backs out. I was a little aggressive, so she really didn't know. So she probably knew something was going on. She backs up on her tower. Aatrox kind of stands around to kind of bully her a little bit. He takes off where he's needed. And then I just kind of continue. That gave me a little bit of time to get mana and shit. The blue buff wore off. So now I got a little bit. And I just incinerate her. Like, let's take a quick look at that again. So I just happened getting all these little bits of last hits. And then here, one thing when you're fighting against Zyra is you need to make sure that you can easily dodge her root, because if her root gets you, she's going to do her whole combo, which is plant seeds and, you know, throw the thorn thrasher auto attack plants up on you. So as you see, I literally just incinerated her. I got my root off on her. I threw up one of my plants. Between my spells alone, it killed her. My plant actually didn't even get an attack off. I ignited her, which was pretty unnecessary, but I guess I just wanted to secure the kill. So that's something I could have saved and got my ignite for. So I'm buying all my items, going back to mid lane. Mid's missing, so I ping it. Throw a plant in the bush to make sure I don't have fiddlesticks in there. Alright, let's take a look at this real quick. This is where I fucked up. So Jarvan's here. Diana's overextended all hell. Jarvan's like, let's go. Let's do this. So I'm like, okay, they ping him, and look at where I am. Aatrox is even coming in from top lane, but look at where I am. I'm like, okay, well, lol, I'll get this. I didn't even think that they were going to actually... I didn't even think they were ganking, so this was my mistake. So I get in there hell late. We could have easily had this kill. But I ended up nailing the root and everything on her tower, but it doesn't matter. So... okay, so they're like, okay, dragon, you know... we don't know where the jungler is, but we have enough wards to kind of keep an eye out. And I threw my Thresher plant up there, and Tarek got a ward up there, and Jarvan got his ward up there. So we've got enough coverage around here to kind of know. And I throw specifically the slow plant, the Thresher plant or whatever, the vine plant right there, so it slows them if they do decide to come around. And then it's a 3-man gank. Now we're going to gank. I throw that up just to make sure there's no one else in the bush. A little unnecessary because I had Jarvan right there. But we go to nail her. We got to get... Okay. Let's back this up for a second. I want to, like, hyper slow that down. Alright. Okay, let's go ahead and see. So, like, okay, we're going to gank her. Alright, now watch this. So, we're, like, going in. Diana's kind of like, I'm fucked. Look at this. There's 3 of us. Okay. Look at that root. Look at that. She flashed just before my root got her, and just after Jarvan did that. She would have been stuck there. But she nailed the flash. I thought that was just kind of cool. I mean, you guys can think whatever you want of it. She ends up getting away, obviously, because, you know, that nice flash. Even the Aatrox complimented her on the flash. As you can see, he kind of stopped there. He's talking. So it just kind of goes back to kind of a little bit of a farm fest. This isn't really all that interesting. Okay, here's where the zoning comes in. I throw that planet. It does 130 damage per auto attack. Diana's sitting over there. She did buy some magic resist, so she's trying to avoid it. I believe the plants do magic damage and not physical. So I have free farm for the most part. She has to use her Q to farm. So let's kind of continue. And that's one of the things I love about playing Zyra. Again, granted, that doesn't work on a lot of people. Diana's one that I didn't think it would work on just because of her dive. She needed to be more aggressive on me, especially when she knew everyone was everywhere else. Because every time she jumps on me, for the most part, she gets me. But when she lets me get her, when I engage on her, it's not going to work. So I'm just getting all my farm. And they're pinging like, oh, there's people here. You know, they were. Alright, I want to point something out. Blue is up right now. This is another thing. As an AP mid, I don't know what... I'm very courteous about things like this. I try and be very nice about things like this. Like, I don't know if the jungler needs it again or wants it again. And so he didn't communicate that to me, but it's more so my fault. I asked him if I could have it here in a little bit, and he said, yeah, you could have had it a long time ago. Our blue buff was up that entire time. That's something that as soon as it popped, I should have said, hey, Jarvan, can I have blue buff? At that point, I probably could have done it myself, but I wouldn't have really needed him. But at the same time, by not doing it, I lost out on mana regen, which as you saw earlier, I didn't have mana or I was running out of mana. I had no mana, none. There we go. And the cooldown reduction would be amazing because Zyra already, from her W, already gets passive cooldown reduction at max level. It gives you free 20% cooldown reduction. So you'd be at like max cooldown reduction. At this point, yeah, my W, which gives you the cooldown reduction, is only giving me 8%. And then with mastery, so I'm looking at 10% plus whatever. But by having it up, I left it open to counter jungling, which at this point I was afraid of. I thought, oh god, I should have got blue before. They snagged it because we have Vayne in this area if you can't see her. And we saw a couple other people. Bot's completely missing. Draven decided to sit here and farm. This is something that he probably should have followed up on. But we really didn't have a lot of information to go off of. So Tarek / Campbell's coming up. Let's go ahead and see what happens. So I'm like, alright, so blue is up, and then I see Sona. Alright, so Campbell goes in here, kind of solo, stuns Sona, but he knows, okay, well, I have no backup. I'm like, well, I'm not going to be able to help a whole lot. We could do some damage, but I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be able to kill her. And then Draven decides to come in, or try and come in, and we just kind of all backed out, so that was bad communication on our part. Diana was down there. I'm assuming she was going to help, which I knew she was going to flank, so that's another reason why I didn't go in. And or she was going to steal our blue. So our blue's still up. I could still go get it. I probably, at any point. I can have my plans to tank it and whatnot. So I'm like, okay, well, now that Diana's kind of, now that the blue thing is over, so they don't really know that I have an interest, I'll try and go get it. But Aatrox's like, hey, let's gank mid. I cast it too short in front of me, or not far enough in front of me, or she was just too far ahead of me, so I didn't get it. An unfortunate ult, but shit happens. So I'm like, okay, now I'll go get blue buff. So doing all my stuff to get blue buff while bot's going on. I'm not really needed anywhere until just now when Diana tries to push mid out. Aatrox is like, hey, let's go gank her again. And by the time we get there, she's gone. So I'm pretty sure she has a ward down here somewhere, but...
Purple team's turret has been destroyed.
So I'm here, and look at this. She can't touch me. Like, it's like, okay, well, what you gonna do? This is my farm. You don't get any. Okay, and then Tryndamere, was it Tryndamere? Tryndamere was in our bushes here. We see him. I saw that he pinged. Aatrox didn't follow up because he knew we weren't going to catch him. I decided to go. God damn you, directed camera. I decided to go see what I could do. There wasn't a whole lot I can do. It's Tryndamere. Tryndamere sticks around though for a little while here. He can't do a whole lot. The amount of kite that I have as Zyra is disgusting. So Aatrox's like, hey, let's go in again. Or Jarvan actually went in again. Here, let me take a look at that. Alright, so Jarvan's like, hey, let's gank. And he's pinging him, and I'm like, okay, I know. And I walk away. Why did I walk away? Oh, that's something that I definitely need to keep working on. But so we're here. Fiddlesticks is here. He shows his face. Everyone's kind of doing their thing. Jarvan and Aatrox are trying to stick around and gank so we can get this tower. Well, Fiddlesticks disappears, and we're like, okay, well, fuck it. We'll just take this tower. So go and auto attack on the tower. Notice I don't summon any plants because they're just going to be attacked automatically. I probably should have in the end, because I'm not sure if the tower prioritizes the plants over champions, but then either way they would have been able to do some damage to Diana. But I was thinking more so of the tower in my mind, so it was like, okay. And then Jarvan goes in. I'm like, oh shit, let's go in. I flash in for no reason. I guess I wanted to get close enough to throw out an E and get rooted, or root them, and Diana jumps on me. And I get insta-jibbed because she just burst the crap out of me. Fiddlesticks comes in to support Diana. I throw at that, it ends up working. And Jarvan and Aatrox could probably maybe kill them, but they don't really want to risk it at this point. So they get to stay on their tower for free, and they kind of poke them, but not a whole lot happens in the end. We end up not taking the tower, unfortunately. But they keep pushing it out. They're trying to scare them. Tryndamere gets up there, but bot's kind of overextended. They're having some problems, so they end up going bot. Not a whole lot happens. Oops. So we're gonna continue on. I'm still learning how to use the recorder. So I see craps going on. Diana's missing at this point, so I'm not exactly sure what I want to do. Diana was down there, but she didn't do anything. So I'm just going back to reclaiming my farm. I've got... Diana is actually caught up in farm, so as I said, this is something I really need